Good morning, students. Myself Rashmi Yande, your science teacher. Stay home, stay safe, learn well. Today we are going to start our next part of our lesson.
Good morning, students. Yesterday we just discussed about the protein synthesis, that is the transcription, translation and translocation, how it occurs and mutation. Now today we are going to start the new concept, that is the evolution. What is evolution? As I told you already, evolution is a gradual change occurring in living organisms over a long duration of time. It takes very long time. It is a very slow process where development of organisms are occur, which has various stages, various components, from stars to planets in space, in biosphere, on the earth. It all included into the evolution. Formation of new species due to changes in specific characters of several generations of living organism as a response to natural selection is also called as the evolution. So here there are the 2-3 definitions of the evolution. As we know that first creature or first living thing is found in the ocean. From that first living thing, unicellular organism, to multicellular, many-dimensional, there is a various types of the animals, plants, variety. We can say biodiversity is there. So up to that, up to this biodiversity, whatever development is occur, all this includes into the evolution. Different theories, different scientists gives the theories about that, but gradual development of living organism, this theory is widely accepted. First living material, that is the protoplasm, has been formed in ocean, that is the unicellular organism was formed, and gradually changes occur in unicellular organism which get converted into complex organism, and as there is a development occurs slowly, gradually. It takes about 300 crore years. After that, this type of the multi-dimensional variety of animals and plants were formed. Hence, we can again define the evolution. The overall process of development, it is called as the evolution, which is organizational. Organizational, that means step by step there is this development is occur. So last, there is also a definition of evolution: progressive development of plants and animals from the ancestors having different structural and functional organization is called as the evolution. Okay, this is the basic concept, gradual development. But question is arise here, what is the proof for that? Is there any proof which can be explained the theory of this evolution, how actually evolution occur? So answer is yes, there is a proof. Next part of our lesson, that is the evidences of evolution. Evidences, that is nothing but the proof. So here 6 evidences are there. From that, again we can assume, we can confirm that yes, these type of slowly developments are occur. First of all, first type of the evidence or first evidence, it is the morphological evidence. What is the meaning of morphology? Morphology is nothing but the external appearance. External appearance, it is called as the morphology. If you observe carefully these diagrams in morphological evidences, then similarities in the mouth, structure of mouth, structure of nostrils, air pinna, and dense hair on the body. These are the similarities which can be observed in these 3 animals. That is, these type of animals. What it indicates? It indicates that they may have common ancestors, they may evolve from common ancestors. Yes, Like that animal, in plants also, if you observe the leaf shape, the leaf venation, here parallel venations are there in these three plants. Yes, leaf petiole, petiole, that is nothing but the area which is attached to the branch of that plant, it is called as the petiole. So leaf shape, leaf venation, leaf petiole occurs in case of the plants. This similarity indicates that their origin must be same. So this is the first evidence, that is the morphological evidence. Second type of evidence, that is the anatomical evidence. Nothing but the internal arrangement of the body, that means the internal arrangement of the bone, it is called as the anatomy. And in anatomical evidences, if you observe the human hand, cat's foreleg, patagium of bat and flipper of whale, so arrangement of bone, if you observe in these four diagram, then the arrangement are similar. This type of joints, they are the similar one, so that it indicates that those animals may have the common ancestors. This is the second evidence. Third evidence, it is the related to the vestigial organ. What is the meaning of vestigial? Degenerated or underdeveloped useless organs of organism are called as the vestigial organ. In human beings, in living organisms, sudden development of new tissues or organs for living in changing environment is not possible. We know that sudden change, quick change is not possible. Instead of that, gradual changes are occur. For example, appendix. If you at the end of the large intestine, this appendix, it is attached. Yes, it is useful in the ruminants. Ruminants, that is nothing but the animals which eat the raw food, cow, buffaloes, ox, that type of horse, these type of the animals which are called as the ruminants. Yes, so in that this appendix is useful, but in human being it is useless or may create harm. Yes, and when it create harm, we remove that appendix, but due to the removation of that area or of that organ, there is no effect on other processes which occur into human beings. What is the conclusion of that? Although appendix is useless in human beings, but it is useful into the other ruminants animals. Similarly, muscles of ear pinna, which is useless to human beings, muscles of the ear pinna, it is useless in human beings, but it is useful into the monkey. Yes, for movement of the ear. Like these tailbone, that is the coccyx or wisdom teeth, these are body hairs. These are also examples of the vestigial organ which is useless in human beings. There is no use of these, but they are useful in other types of the animals. Fourth proof, that is the paleontological evidences. Study of fossils, it is called as the paleontology. Large number of organisms get buried due to disasters like flood, earthquake, volcano, etc. And remnants and impressions of such organisms remain preserved underground. These are called as the fossils. And study of fossils, it is an important aspect of study of evolution. How? There is a method. Which method? Carbon dating method. Carbon dating method, from that we can conclude or we can find out the age of that fossil. Decaying of the carbon-14 occurs continuously. In case of dead bodies of plants and animals, instead of remaining constant, the ratio between carbon-14 and carbon-12 changes continuously because carbon-12 is non-radioactive. Carbon-12 is non-radioactive and carbon-14 is radioactive. Yes? So the time passed since the death of the plant or animal can be calculated by measuring the radioactivity of carbon-14 and ratio of carbon-14 to carbon-12 present in their body. This method it is called as the carbon dating method. This carbon dating method, it is used in paleontology and anthropology for determining the age of human fossils and manuscripts. What is the meaning of paleontology? Paleontology, that is the study of fossils, and anthropology, that is the study of evolution. Once the age of fossil been determined by such technique, it become easy to deduce the information about other erstwhile organisms. It seems that vertebrates have been slowly originated from invertebrates. Vertebrates have the proper vertebral column. Invertebrates don't have the vertebral column. This is the basic difference in between the vertebrates and invertebrates. That vertebrates are slowly originated from invertebrates. Three eras are there: Cenozoic era, Mesozoic era, and Paleozoic era. Cenozoic era, that is the recent era. Yes. Mesozoic era, that is the middle era, and Paleozoic era, that is the very ancient, old era. Era, that is nothing but a time period. So in Paleozoic era, these type of starfish, certain types of the Pisces, yes, these are included. Amphibians, reptiles, these are the included. These all are the invertebrates. Yes. After that, there is a development is occur, evolution is occur, and from these amphibians, Pisces, reptiles are developed, which included into the Mesozoic era. And from reptiles, aves, that is the birds, mammals, they evolved, they get developed, which is under the Cenozoic era. This theory proved that we have common ancestors. Fifth one evidence, it is the connecting link. Some plants and animals show some morphological characters by which they can be related to two different groups, hence they are called as the connecting links. Example, peripatus. First example, if you observe the structure of this peripatus, in peripatus, characters like segmented body, thin cuticle, and parapodia like organs are present. Similarly, these animals show tracheal respiration and open circulatory system similar to the arthropods. Arthropods, that is the insects. Arthropods are nothing but the insects. Butterfly, which is included into the arthropods. The segmented body is there, thin cuticles are there, and parapodia like organ is there. Parapodia, that is a locomotory organ, segmentary body, yes, and thin cuticles. These all are the characteristics which are observed into the annelids. Yes. So this indicates that peripatus is connecting link between Annelida and Arthropoda. Second example, duck-billed platypus, which lays eggs like reptiles but shows the relationship with mammals due to the presence of mammary gland and hairs. The characteristics of reptiles, it is they lays eggs. Duck-billed platypus, it lays eggs. Therefore, it is related with the reptiles. But in other hand, it has a mammary gland. It has hairs on their body, which represent that they have the characteristics of the mammals also. That means duck-billed platypus, it is the connecting link between mammals and reptiles. So here third example, it is the lungfish. In lungfish, they performs the respiration with lungs irrespective of being fish. We know that in fish, respiration is occurs with the gills, with the help of gills. But although it is included into the fish, but they perform the respiration with lungs. These examples indicate that mammals are evolved from reptiles and amphibians from fishes. Here evolution is occur from reptiles, both reptiles characteristics and amphibian characteristics, fishes. From this there is the evolution occurs of human beings, or we can say the mammals, not actually human beings, mammals. Okay. Next one, last evidence, that is the embryological evidences. Embryo, it is the initial stage after the fertilization. When zygote is formed, that the zygote is converted into the embryo and it get developed in uterus of the mother for 9 months. Okay, so here embryological evidence, in that comparative, if you observe here, the stages are there: fish, salamander, tortoise, chicken, pig, cow, rabbit and man. In that, first stage, second stage and third stage, that is the initial stages are there. And in this initial stage, if we observe the embryo in the initial stage, it is similar in all these animals. Comparative study of embryonic developmental stages of various vertebrates given in the picture, which shows that all embryos shows extreme similarities during the initial stages, and those similarities decreases gradually. Similarities in initial stages indicate that the common origin of all these animals. That means they may origin with common ancestors. But which things are responsible apart from that? The next part of our lesson, it is Darwin's theory of natural selection.